Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I have talked about this kind of a bit in past videos, but I wanted to make a full video on Simulated Universe as a whole because while I do enjoy it, I mean most of the background footage of my videos is Simulated Universe runs, it does kind of have some glaring problems right now. The main one being that the format of it has barely changed since the launch of the game. Yeah, we did get some new rooms and some new mechanics and stuff. But the actual format of it is still the same. It's just, oh, you go in a room, you do a thing, you go to the next room, you do another thing. It's just been the same ever since launch. And it does just make it feel really stale. Now, I'm mainly referring to a lot of the newer versions, like Divergent Universe and A Noble Domain and this kind of things, because they have kind of changed the format in the past with Swarm Disaster and Golden Gears, with the whole map layout thing and different kind of dice and that sort of thing, which I did like, even though I know that some people were kind of a bit iffy on, since it could be kind of annoying and did make runs a bit longer and was also just kind of confusing, I'm not gonna lie. But I do think that it at least made it feel different, which I really think is what Simulated Universe needs right now. Because while I do like many of the changes that they have made, and I do like a lot of the new mechanics, for example, I like the equation system. It makes them, feel like your runs have a bit more of a direction with your build. Being able to, farm planar ornaments whenever you want. I feel like a lot of people forget how awful planar ornament farming was before. Even the new boon system, which I know some people don't really like, since it can feel like it just invalidates your individual blessings. I don't really agree with, since you do still need to pick good blessings to go with your build. It's not like you can just pick random stuff and win. Maybe on the base difficulty, but if you're doing higher difficulties, definitely not. But I feel like none of this really matters because the format hasn't changed at all since Divergent Universe came out. So it doesn't really matter how much you change the mechanics if it just feels like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it just becomes boring. It's especially bad if it's getting stale because it's a weekly thing, so you want to do it every week. And if it's just getting stale, then you're not going to do it, so you're going to have less people wanting to log in, Now, I'm not saying that they need to completely rework the whole entire system, since in Swarm Disaster and Golden Gears, it had the map mechanic which to make it feel different, but it was still kind of the same core thing of going to different rooms, having different encounters, and then having a boss at the end. Because I think that is fine. I think the problem is just that it's been the same format since Divergent Universe has come out, I feel like they could do something more along the lines of, those two things that I just said. Maybe they could bring the map mechanic back, but maybe change it to be a bit more intuitive, because like I said, it could be pretty confusing before with the different ways the interactions, and also the dice just didn't really make any sense, I'm gonna be honest. Or even maybe do something like Zenless, where you have the map that shows the different paths, the different encounters you can get, so you do actually have to think a bit more about where you want to go instead of just being oh, it's a fight, I'm gonna go there, Because right now it feels like you can't just pick whatever you want and then you just go. It doesn't really matter which thing you pick. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to a full rework, but I just don't really think that that's realistic, because I feel like the devs would rather just make a whole new game mode than do a full rework on it, Also, I just don't think that that would ever happen, I'm gonna be honest. I definitely think that they don't want to change it too much because it is a weekly thing, because people hate change. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people will ask for change, but then when they do change something, people complain that they changed it. So there is literally no winning, I do get why they didn't bring back the map mechanics, since it could make runs very long. So, I definitely think that they don't want runs to be too long, because it'll feel like it drags out, so people just don't want to do it. Which could be why they've probably only changed the mechanics of it, so that it still works, as a weekly thing, and you can just hop on and do it and then hop off, Even though I do kind of understand why they would be a bit apprehensive to change the format of it. Right now, I feel like it just has the opposite problem, where people just don't want to do it because it's just boring, and they're just tired of the format, But even more than that, I think people are just kind of tired of Simulated Universe in general. The last new game mode we got was Apocalyptic Shadow back in 2.3, which was a year ago now, almost. And it's just been Simulated Universe stuff ever since, which, like I said, I have, enjoyed it. I basically almost fully completed on Noble Domain, and, I've been trying to get higher difficulties in the new Divergent Universe and stuff like that. At the same time, I feel like it is kind of bad that that's the only game mode that we have gotten for a while. So I do kind of hope that they either like take a break from it for a while and give us something new, like yeah, maybe like do some like quality of life changes to it and things like that. Kind of just like put it a bit more like on the back burner so something like new can shine, or like if they're going to do more with it, since they're I'm pretty sure they are, since there's like a timer on the Diverge Universe thing for when it's going to update. If they're going to do something new with it, I think there needs to be like more significant changes to it, like what Divergent Universe was for Simulated Universe. Like that was a big change for it. But like everything we've gotten since then has kind of just been like expansions, That while I have enjoyed them, it just kind of just feel like more of the same thing, and less of like an evolution of the thing. So I hope that like if they do like a new thing with it, it's like a big thing, like besides just mechanic changes. Like I do expect them to do mechanic changes. I mean like more than just that, like a change to the actual format itself. Like maybe you could change like how the difficulty works, because right now it is kind of just confusing for no reason. Like I'm gonna be honest. And some things in the difficulties just kind of feel like they should just be there normally. At least how I would do the difficulties is to give like increasingly harder conditions that like stack up as you go up in levels, which is like kind of how it works right now. But like I more mean that like in general, like kind of like something like Slay the Spire, where there's like different effects that you get as you go up in ascension levels, and they stack more and more as you go up. And also maybe give like more difficulty levels. One other thing that I do think could be cool, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know if they would ever do this, but it's having like a way to do custom runs. Like maybe choosing to start off with like certain curios or like blessings / like equations, or even like being able to only get like a certain type of blessing or something. I feel like that would be interesting, especially for like content creators if they do it right. Because if it's like way too restrictive, then there isn't really a point to it, I do think that could be like a cool thing to give it a bit more like longevity and stuff to do. Since I mean, if they do it right, that would be like endless potential, But I don't know. I do think I do like Simulated Universe. I just think it's kind of stagnating right now, But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.